Hello and welcome to our very first look at Season 11 in SnowRunner. Now, this is the brand new launch screen that you are going to see, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail in a moment about the brand new environment and the brand new region. Just know that for your information, it is going to have two maps, and it is going to be more snow-based than some of the prior DLCs that we have gotten, so if snow is your thing, you will definitely be at home here. Now, we are using the public test server to check this out, but do be aware that the DLC itself has not unlocked itself for play yet, so we haven't been able to actually drive around these new maps yet, but make sure you are subscribed to see gameplay of the new maps as soon as they become available. Now, the new region is Scandinavia, Northern Europe, and there are two maps, Mountain Ridge and By the Lake. And I'm going to go in depth on what the description of this is because it's actually kind of interesting. It says a historical cultural region in Northern Europe. Scandinavia is one of the most beautiful places on Earth, filled with countless forests, lakes, mountains, fjords, and more. The region attracts a tremendous number of tourists every year, which is why the small town of Drestoke, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or wrong, probably not, but says has decided to build a ski resort. Moreover, a certain Scandinavian movie studio is building multiple movie sets in the area for a new project. Thanks to the supervision of the local environmental conservation agency, the safety of the local flora and fauna is in good hands. Now, there are obviously going to be different elements of regional progress throughout this region, and I'm really excited to dive into all of it. Now, your regional progress is going to revolve around filming finished, ski resort built, and watchtowers built. Now, what's interesting about that third one, watchtowers built, is it makes me wonder if there's going to be a little bit of a gameplay tie-in where you won't be able to necessarily unlock certain parts of the map visually if you haven't built certain watchtowers yet. I don't know that for certain, but we're definitely going to have to wait and see, especially once these first become available to play on the public test server. Now, as far as new vehicles go, we actually have a couple of interesting ones, namely the Burlak 6x6 and the Neo Falcon 2000. Now, these are interesting for multiple reasons. One, because the Burlak 6x6 seems like it's positioning itself to be a direct competitor to the Yar. However, I'm not too sold on its starting specs. It looks like it's going to be, let's say, particularly slow, and also potentially less durable than the Yar as well. But before we talk any more about that, I'm going to go ahead and throw a low saddle on this Western Star 57X and back out of the garage to show y'all the brand new Movie Star trailer. Now, the Movie Star trailer is an odd one, but I actually really like the details that they put into it, and it goes hand in hand with the movie set theme that they are very obviously going for. Now, you can tell right off the bat that this looks like it was inspired by a lot of the mod trailers that we've seen, and interestingly, when I first looked at it, I thought to myself, if you changed a couple of elements of this and maybe moved a couple of things around, moved a couple of windows around and changed some colors, you'd have a pretty gnarly horse trailer. And I don't know why that's what I thought of. I don't know why that's where my brain went, but it does have that sort of vibe to it. And you can let me know in the comments below if you feel that way about it as well. And as we look around this trailer, I think it's definitely one of the more creative trailers that I've seen the devs make. But once we actually go to the advanced settings, you can see that it actually fully unfolds, including the canopy and multiple pop-out sections in the middle, as well as the satellite dish for communications actually unwinding and folding up. So, interesting thing about this, though, is that it doesn't really, at least I don't think that the folding and unfolding ability, has any direct effects on gameplay. I don't think that it has any sort of exploration effects on gameplay. I don't think it's any kind of, portable radar unit or something like that. Probably not, but that remains to be seen. Driving-wise, it feels like a very lightweight trailer, so I don't think it's going to really hold any of your trucks back. I don't really think it's going to give you much trouble. The only issue that I could see going through a general, let's say if we just imagine a generic SnowRunner campaign map, for example, the only issue I could see with this thing would maybe be getting high-centered, especially because the landing gear sits extra low. But other than that, it's probably not going to be a very difficult trailer to pull whatsoever. And as far as it being involved in the general story and general campaign of the game, I think it's cool. I'm always down for creatively themed trailers and creatively themed implements and attachments and machinery throughout a game like this. And I think, frankly, it's important to add more elements in order to make the game a little bit more interesting, because at the end of the day, a lot of this game revolves around the same gameplay loop happening over and over and over again. And so whenever you add little elements to mix up that gameplay loop, I think it's always beneficial. Now, I did want to go ahead and use the free camera to fly inside the trailer to see if they had hidden any Easter eggs in there, and there really aren't any aside from these two. They look like gas bottles, and then aside from that, there's really nothing else, but I really did want to go inside the trailer and see if there were any hidden Easter eggs in there. Doesn't really appear as though there are, but I still wanted to check for y'all. Now let's switch gears a little bit back to the subject of new vehicles, mainly this, the Burlak 6x6. Now notice that this thing has actually some really interesting elements to it. For example, the all-wheel drive is switchable as default, the diff lock is switchable as default, it comes stock with 69-inch nice tires. And despite the fact that I said earlier that I was worried it would be slow, we don't really know what engines this thing can use yet, and I hope, I'm crossing my fingers and hoping for the best here, that there will be some gnarly engines that we can throw under the hood of that thing and hopefully absolutely shred with it. Now, I'm sure it's not going to be mod truck fast, and I know that on the screen right now you're watching mod truck gameplay, and I know that not everybody that plays this game is into that, and there's going to be people out there that are going to say that speed doesn't matter and you shouldn't be worried about whether or not a truck is going to be fast, and anything being fast in this game, means you're playing it in the wrong way, blah, 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 blah. It's fine. Whatever. I enjoy playing this game in such a broad variety of ways that I am bound to make someone mad somewhere along the line. And you know what? I'm fine with that. Now, as far as what I would like out of Season 11, really what I would like is I would like to see kind of a mixture of a lot of the different snow map elements that we have seen in prior DLCs up to this point. Now, region-based, at least, not mission-based, but just solely based on the terrain, I adored the way the Yukon was laid out. However, I hated the task and contract structure. I hated and near despised the contract structure in the Yukon region because it was designed to be so incredibly repetitive and monotonous that it frankly took a lot out of the experience of the actual map and region itself, because the map and regions themselves were absolutely freaking beautiful. And so if this is similar to the Yukon visually, but the missions are structured a lot better, I think it's going to be a wonderful region to spend time in. Now, I know that those were some pretty harsh words that I used about the Yukon region, but I do want to clarify something. I love that region, and yes, while there are some tasks and contracts that really grind my gears, so to speak, they make my brain just spew smoke out my ears and all the lovely things that come with that. At the end of the day, it was still a really, really fun region, and it was one that I had a lot of fun with. I'm just once again hoping that there aren't the same type of tasks. And yes, I know that some of them were great, but some of them were awful. So if they can find a happy medium, I'll be really, really happy with the new Scandinavia region. Now let's move on to another topic that I really think needs to be discussed, and that is technical updates and things that really need to be addressed, particularly Xbox players. Now, Xbox players out there in the audience especially will know that I will not stop, I will literally not shut up about the Xbox community until there is an update made and a fix made to the issues that continues to plague the Xbox players of this game. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that the experience, especially in multiplayer on Xbox, has been totally broken for quite a while now. I mean, at this point, probably, almost half a year? And that's not okay. Not okay in any way, shape, or form. And I know that there have been little fixes made here and there, sure, but there are so many people still out there on Xbox that have tremendous issues even getting the game to remotely work in multiplayer. And frankly, that is awful. It's absolutely ridiculous to me that there are so many players out there that essentially can't play the game, even this far into the game's life cycle, and, you know, we're still out here like, here's a new DLC, y'all, and I'm like, technical fixes that we need. Listen to your Xbox community. And, you know, that's my soapbox for the Xbox community, but they really need it, y'all. They really, really need it. And I cannot stress enough how large the community for this game on Xbox alone is, not to mention all of the PlayStation people and Switch people as well. But with that being said and done, that is an initial introduction to what we can expect out of Season 11 in SnowRunner. And if y'all enjoyed this video and you would like to see more as well as stay as up to date as possible, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later. I hope y'all enjoyed.